MLS Aces Podcast. This is episode 280. Happy New Year. It's 2024, and just like 2023, you got me, Tom Sweezy, your host, along with Jason Vivang. Jason, you look like you're in sunny Chicago. I'm in like pitch black.
Dude, it's just the lighting. It's a full-on snowstorm.
Okay, you got snowstorm. We have apparently some winds and rain that's like Hurricane Sandy-esque. I don't know. So, if recording goes out midway through, it goes out midway through. It's a perfect way to start 2024,
Yeah, we don't control the weather.
No, we don't control that. But it is the off season. It is our first, I would say, official episode of the off season. I know we had some stuff to kind of round out the 2023 calendar year, but just like we did 2 years ago and like what we promised you guys a few episodes ago, we're gonna bring back the off season drafts. And if you don't know what that is, if you're a newer listener, everything like that, we are going to bring back just simply, we go back and forth. We're going to draft players back and forth based off of some type of criteria that we've laid out prior to. And we're going to build a team. We're going to put that team out on social media and see who wins the vote. That's simple. That's as simple as it's going to be. So this episode, I think we kind of went with more of like champions of the MLS season in 2023.
One right? Trophy, right?
Yes. So it's whoever in our roster pool that we can pick from is players who won a trophy during the 2023 calendar year for Major League Soccer. So just for listeners' sake, that is the Columbus Crew winning MLS Cup. That is the Houston Dynamo winning the U.S. Open Cup. That's Inter Miami winning the Leagues Cup. And that's FC Cincinnati winning your Supporter Shield. So we have 2023 rosters, not current present-day rosters, 4 2023 rosters in which we can select players from for this draft. So, Jason, I need to grab a pen because I got to write this stuff down. But, Jason, are you ready to do it? I'm going to give you the honor of the number one.
I was thinking we flip a coin, and whoever gets answers whatever gets a coin flip correct.
Sure.
Gets to choose first or second two. Because that's probably what we're going to do, right? We'll snake it a little bit.
Yeah, we'll snake it. We'll snake it. Do you have a coin?
I pulled it up on my computer.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
All right, I'm going to flip it. 3. You call it. You call it.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Flip. Go.
Heads.
Oh, it was heads.
Okay, sweet. I'll take it. I will take the second pick. I'll take the back-to-back there.
All right, I'm going to take Messi.
I mean, it's fair number one overall pick there. Lionel Messi with the first pick.
Oh, I'm going to write. Can I just type them below?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm also going to write it down so we have it. So no worries with that too. I mean, honestly, outside of Messi being the number one overall pick, there's no clear and obvious second, third, stuff like that.
I was thinking who I would have gone with second and third. And there's probably 3 or 4 I would pick out of those.
100%. And also for the listener's sake, we can build these 11s in whatever type of formation we want. Jason can put Messi at wing, striker, attacking midfielder. However he wants to play it, he can. So he will let me know that after the episode. But
it'll depend on the draft.
I am going to go with Lucho Acosta with the number 2 overall pick there. And then quickly follow that up. I'm gonna go. Oh, I wasn't ready for that. I made the pick here and I wasn't ready. I'm gonna go with Yerson Mosquera for the number 3 pick.
All right. I am gonna get the 2 guys I wanted, I think. I'm going all in, man. I'm going to take Cucho.
Okay. Oh, fuck, I forgot about Cucho. Shit.
And I'm
staring at a list, and I forgot him.
I'm going to take Hector Herrera.
Okay, fair. That's upsetting that I forgot about Cucho. That hurts. Shit. Okay, that's fine.
I thought you were going to take Cucho over Acosta.
No, I would have taken Lucho. That's fine. The Yerson Mosquera, I would have taken Cucho, though. It's all good. It is what it is. But I will go with back-to-back picks of teammates. Just simply give me Darlington Nagbe and Aiden Morris. Just give me that central midfield pairing, and I am a happy person there.
Okay, Morris.
I like how we're both keeping track of this.
I was keeping track of mine to be able to try and figure out what the team I had, and then I realized that I'm writing both of them, so it doesn't actually help me.
All good. No worries.
Oh man, now it's starting to get interesting.
I'm gonna start removing players from the big board as quickly as I can. So just giving you that heads up.
Okay, that's cool with me. I don't like how this is on 2 pages.
Yeah, I think that's honestly how I missed Cujo. He's like, he kind of fell like just below that first page.
Yeah,
so it's
below
all
the
good.
page. Oh, man, now it's actually kind of tough. So I have 2 DPs already.
Oh, and that is a rule that we also didn't.
Oh wait, I have 3 DPs, right?
Yeah, you have 3.
Oh,
you have
crap.
3 DPs. I have 2.
All right, yeah, so I can't take any more DPs, which means you can leave the DPs and draft them at the end if you want.
That can be my last pick. That's fine.
All right, well, I'll take Yao Yeboah.
Ooh, interesting. I don't hate it. I don't love it though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm thinking. I'll take also Matt Miazga.
Miazga. Miazga's not a DP. Yeah.
No. At least we didn't have him marked as a DP.
No, I don't think he's a DP. I don't. It was Lucho, Bupenza, and Nobodo as Cincy's DPs. So no worries there. I have options with where I can go with these next 2 picks. I think Coco Carrasquilla has to be
a good pick
off the board. So I'm gonna go there. And I can play him a little versatile. He can fall in different spots. I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to go with the dude who had Denis Bouanga locked up in MLS Cup. Give me Steven Moreira.
All right.
I'm feeling strong.
That's definitely not how you spell it, but that's how I'm going to spell it.
It's all good.
Dude, I wanted to get Diego Rossi, and I didn't think this through.
He's gone, boy. I mean, look, I'm just going to be honest with you. He might be my DP pick. It's just going to happen.
You have already won? You have Acosta?
I have 2. Nagbe is a DP, and so is Lucho.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
All right.
I kind of forgot we were doing the DP rule. So
I did completely. I'll take Jordi Alba.
Jordi Alba, not a DP, but DP level for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right.
Oh, man, it's getting tough now.
I have to have an idea of a formation I got going on.
I have no idea, which is a bit of a struggle. And I will take Obi Nwodo.
He's a DP, sir.
Gosh.
You cannot take Obi Nwodo.
Oh no, man, this is not going well.
I'm sorry to break the news to you here.
All right, so I have Messi, Cucho. I'm trying to see what I actually need.
I like where I'm at with this team right now. I'm just gonna be very honest with you. I like where I'm at.
I'll take Mo Farsi.
Farsi.
This was a bad idea, actually. This was a horrible idea.
I will give you my next pick for a trade for Mo Farsi if you would like.
I don't know what your next pick is. Oh, you mean just...
I'll give you the pick for Mo Farsi. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. Jason's really pumped.
No, okay, I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it because you want it.
No, that's fine. That is I'm fine with it. I'm gonna go Alvaro Barreal.
Okay.
And then sorry, I'm writing it down. And
I forgot I had to write them down.
And then Give me. That's gonna be him. So give me. I'm planning. This is going so well for me right now. I love it. I think I'm gonna take DeAndre Yedlin.
Okay. Me. What do I need?
I literally had to just draw out a formation right now and be like, okay, we're plugging.
Yeah, I wish I had a piece of paper. I don't have a piece of paper or pencil.
You know, I came prepared. You didn't. And that's all.
I'm
That's
trying
all
to do this in my mind.
You're gonna have to throw together some.
Back. All right, we gotta pull something off here. I wanted Busquets and I forgot. I wanted Nuboto and I forgot. I'll take Artur.
Artur. Okay, good pick.
I'm falling apart here.
What else? What else are you going for here?
All right, this is 9. I have a decent.
I got options. I'm just gonna let you know right now. I'm winning this thing. I have options.
I'll take Mounty Amundsen.
It's okay. He was an option. I'll be honest with you. He was an option.
He's no longer an option for you, buddy.
He's no longer an option. That's fine. I will own that. I think I'm gonna have to go Kamal Miller.
I almost picked him.
Yeah, he was my next up. That's fine. You know, I'm
opening my notes app and writing this down. I'm gonna draw it.
I'm a Kamal Miller guy. And then since I can hold off on this last DP, I'll take the first goalkeeper here, Jason. I'll take the number 1 goalkeeper out of our 4 options. And look, this is up in the air. People may question who is the best goalkeeper of Celentano, Schulte, Clark, and Callender. Give me Drake Callender, okay? Give me the dude who won the Leagues Cup. Give me DC.
I was between. Well, I guess I can say my pick anyways. I was between Callender and Schulte, honestly.
How many more picks do you have left?
I'm trying to figure that out. Let me. Can we just take it 30 seconds?
You have 2 picks left.
All right. I'm just trying to make a.
Do you want me to just make my final pick since you can't take a DP and I know who I'm going to take?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
I'm going to take Diego Rossi with my last pick to round out my starting 11 here. Beautiful, beautiful starting 11.
Yeah.
Jason's like, I drafted 11 players. I don't know where they go.
I'm trying to figure out where they've. I probably should have given you Mo Farsi, to be quite honest. He's gonna.
Hey, I offered it. I'll take DeAndre Yedlin as a backup to my trade offer. That's it. Okay.
No.
I'm really excited to see. Jason's about to have Patrick Schulte playing right wing back for him. That's.
I definitely have Schulte playing on my team. I just put that down there.
Okay, well, you're gonna grab Schulte. That's cool. You got Schulte. Good job.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
You have 10 players.
I really fucked this up.
Did I win the first draft of the offseason?
Honestly, I think probably a decent amount.
I'm just trying to help you out and trying to remove.
I'm just looking for. I'll take. I feel like I got a sub here.
What do you
Christian
need?
Ramirez.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
This is my note. Me trying to put together a formation.
Jason's drawing out a quick formation.
Letters.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'll show you mine as well. This is literally I went. I got green screen issues. I got initials going too. So, do you have an idea of what your rough 11 looks like, just for the listeners right now, quickly?
I think I'm gonna have obviously Schulte in goal.
Okay.
I'm gonna put obviously Miazga. I think I'm gonna play a back 5 with Farsi and Yaboa on the ends.
I'm playing the Wilfred Nancy formation, that whatever you want to call it, the 3-5-2-1. That's what I'm going with.
3-5-2-1-2, essentially.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I ended up doing on accident.
Hey.
But I think I'm going to put Farsi and Yaboa as fullbacks or wingbacks. Then I have Amundsen, Miazga, and I'm going to have to put Alba as a center back.
Alba as your left center.
Yeah, it's okay. He's an elite player. Then I have Hector Herrera and Artur as holding midfielders.
You're Houston.
I got Messi in front of him.
Okay.
And then I have Pucho and Christian Ramirez as my 2 strikers.
Honestly, outside of Djordje
Alba, came
out
not horribly.
Outside of Djordje Alba playing left center back, it's not bad. That's really not bad.
I went heavy on the wing backs a little bit there.
You did. It's okay. You took some options from me. You went with the 3-5-1-2. I'm going with the 3-5-2-1. So I just have 2 behind the striker. Slight difference there.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
In net, I have Drake Callender, obviously. My left wing back is Alvaro Barreal. My right wing back is DeAndre Yedlin. Love it. I'm okay with it. The back 3, I got Yerson Mosquera as my left center back. I have Kamal Miller right in the middle, and I got Steven Moreira as my right center back. My 2 would you say?
So those are good center backs. I think I fucked up.
my central midfield pairing is Nagby and Aiden Morris. I mean, the chemistry. You have the chemistry. You got the Houston chemistry. I went with the Columbus chemistry. The 2 kind of wingers, I guess, that are going to be playing in front of that is Lucho. Wingers, attacking midfielders, however you want to view it, playing in front of that 4 is Lucho Acosta on one side. And it's Coco Carrasquilla on the other side. I love it. I'm cool with that. And then up top is Diego Rossi. Just feed Rossi, and we're gonna win this matchup. So if you want to vote on this, 1, you can do it in comment sections. That's always fine. But 2, it's gonna be on social media. It's gonna be on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. But which team you like better? Jason has
Honestly,
Messi.
It's not as bad as I thought, because I feel like my midfield into the attack is actually pretty good.
No, honestly, your biggest issue is just, Djordje Alba.
Djordje Alba. Yeah.
I
said that multiple times.
I don't hate your team, Jason. That's all I have to say. And
the wheels came off. Next time I'm bringing a pen and paper.
Come prepared. Come on. No. And one roster and 1 starting 11 that I also don't hate is Inter Miami's. And let's dive into the MLS action and the MLS conversation now, Jason. Inter Miami, they've been making a lot of moves, and some would probably say they're winning the offseason. The biggest move that we didn't get an opportunity to talk about, before I think the kind of year-end break we took and everything like that, is Luis Suarez heading to Inter Miami on a free deal. Also announced today, day of recording, Julian Gressel is going to Inter Miami as a free agent as well. So I feel like we can kind of just, lump these moves.
It was heavily rumored as well.
Exactly. It was heavily rumored. We've known it for a while. And also just to kind of, I guess, keep the Inter Miami conversation started, they also traded away Kamal Miller to the Portland Timbers for $625,000 in GAM, an international roster spot, potential for another $150,000 in GAM, plus a sell-on percentage if Kamal Miller is sold outside of Major League Soccer. So Inter Miami's making the moves. As of right now, I mean, you give me your Suarez take, your Julian Gressel take, your roster overall, whatever you're feeling right now from Miami, Jason, give me it.
I mean, Suarez is, I guess, just start with Suarez because that's obviously the massive name here. Is interesting to me because you obviously have that connection with Messi. You have that chemistry. They play together. And this was clearly a decision made with that in mind, and I'm sure Messi is now being incorporated in this decision process, so that's kind of happening. Suarez himself, I feel like a couple months ago I heard him say he can barely walk and his knees always hurt in the mornings and stuff, and I'm like,
he's 36.
Yeah, it's not like a young Suarez, like a prime Suarez. But at the same time, could he have a great season? Yeah, potentially. But I guess I'm a little bit concerned with coming to MLS with already having so many games behind him. An incredible player, long career, but so much gameplay. And now he's going to have to deal with the extra travel. He's going to have to deal with the, MLS schedule that can kind of get crazy here and there.
Yeah.
A lot of games. So it's almost like they're putting a lot of their eggs in this Suarez basket. And that somewhat concerns me, but it's also like, could it be massive for them? It could, but I would probably lean towards saying I don't love it.
I am the complete opposite of you here, sir. I love the Suarez. I mean, look, obviously outside of it's the name Luis Suarez coming to MLS, coming to Inter Miami, joining up with Messi, Busquets, Alba, like outside of that aspect of it, right? Because it's going to sell. He's going to sell jerseys and tickets and all of that stuff. I think Luis Suarez still has it. I think, obviously he is one of the best modern strikers that the game has ever seen, literally. And I'm not talking Major League Soccer. I'm talking the game of soccer globally. In 2023, the calendar year with Grêmio down in Brazil, Suarez played in 53 games. I understand he's 36. I understand Brazil is different than the U.S., but travel in Brazil is just as crazy at certain points. Brazil's not a small country. In his 53 games for Grêmio last year, he had 26 goals and 17 assists. If you tell me that you just have Suarez for CONCACAF Champions Cup plus, 20 games in the regular season, I think you're setting up Inter Miami to win multiple trophies next year, especially with the depth behind Suarez of a Leo Campagna, who was a former young DP. You have a Nicholas Stefanelli behind them. You have guys like Messi. You have guys like Robert Taylor, Facundo Farias, Robbie Robinson. I know that's maybe a little bit of a stretch, but you have depth behind Luis Suarez where you don't need him. Okay, go play 30-something games in MLS. Go play all the games needed in CONCACAF Champions Cup, then Leagues Cup, then the playoffs. You don't need him to do all of that. I think he can do it, and I think he can do it at a high level because the dude's just a natural-born scorer of the ball. But I don't know. I like the move. I think if you're going to set up Inter Miami to have an absolute stellar 2024 calendar year, this is the type of move you have to make, especially not on a DP deal. It's unbelievable. The business is unbelievable.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I think what this signifies is like this team, after getting Messi, Busquets, Alba, like everything kind of flipped for the club in general last season, to where there's a lot of expectations now. There's a lot weighing on it. And maybe it's just like I might be the only person in the whole world that thinks it's like there's a little bit of a concern here, or at least pause.
I'm not saying there's not concern, but I think
I get what you're saying too, though. Like if he goes out there and he gets 20 goals, but I think you want him for more games. I don't know. I think you're gonna have to rotate the squad, and it's not nearly as scary when you start to take away. Like sure, they have depth, but it's not Messi. Like the step down from Messi, if he's got to rotate, is huge. The step down from what Suarez will be, where they probably, how much did you say they offered or whatever?
For who? Suarez?
Or they just got him for?
They got him on a free. So Suarez bought out his deal with, or Grêmio bought out the contract with Suarez. So they signed him on a free deal.
Oh, and I mean, in that case, then I don't know what they're paying him, but it's obviously not a lot.
Yes. I mean, look, and we've talked about this before, and I've talked about this with Sam Stachel 2 years ago on the podcast now when Gareth Bale went to LAFC. You can legally cheat in Major League Soccer. You players can technically sign sponsorship deals that pay them a shit ton of money, and there's no rule against it in MLS rule books, and that happened with Gareth Bale, and I'm sure that is what's happening here with Luis Suarez with Inter Miami. At the same exact time, right? we can move the conversation forward and talk about Julian Gressel joining this roster as well. Whether Julian Gressel is going to be the backup right wing back option to DeAndre Yedlin, whether he is going to be a starting central midfielder next to Benjamin Cremaschi or Jean Mota or Diego Gomez, or whether Julian Gressel is going to be a right winger option behind Messi. He is teaming up with Tata Martino once again, who he had extreme success with. He is still one of the best creators and passers of the ball in Major League Soccer. And pairing that with Luis Suarez, I mean, we are going to see countless goals this year where Julian Gressel pings a ball to the foot of Suarez and it's put home. And that has me excited.
This is the move that I think is like, we kind of all saw it coming, but this is an amazing move for them. I think it takes a lot of pressure off of some of their stars like Messi to create everything, because we know Gressel, we've seen him for years. This guy creates. He does it like very few others from the wing. His ability to impact a match from any position, like you said, where does he even play? Does he come off the bench? We've seen him have tons of success that way. Does he start? He's also had success. Where does he start? And he's sort of like that Swiss Army knife that is amazing for a team that is got expectations and is going to be playing a decent amount of games and want to rest at times. And they could, have Gressel start in Yedlin's spot. They could have Gressel start in Messi's spot. They could have him come off the bench early, I think this is a really, really good move for them that it's like a Messi effect, I guess. To me, it seems like they're going to get players like this a lot because of Messi while he's there.
I think the crazy thing when I'm looking at, because I mean, this, the listeners may not know this. I'm like an absolute crazy person, and I keep depth charts and rosters with everyone's designations and everything like that. And right now I plugged in Julian Gressel into one of my central midfield spots for Inter Miami. The crazy thing to me is that Inter Miami are 2 to 3 deep at every single position outside of center back, which obviously leads into Kamal Miller being traded away to Portland Timbers. And it's obviously MLS rules and salaries and everything like that. You have to give somewhere pretty much. And Miami, I guess right now is choosing to give at the center back spot. I mean, look, you have Tomas Aviles, who they signed for a ton of money from South America, and then Sergi Kristov on the other side, who's a veteran. You still have Chris McVeigh and Ryan Saylor. That would, I would say, be the weakest part of this, this Inter Miami roster for sure. But literally, like I said, everywhere else, you're 2 to 3 deep in players that you can confidently put out there and be like, yeah, they can win you a game in MLS. They can win you a game in Champions Cup. They can win you a game in whatever type of competition we're talking about, So, I know people hate the Inter Miami conversation and the Inter Miami love, but it's just, they have top of the line players, top of the line coaching, top of the line depth. I wouldn't be surprised if another center back is added, maybe a more veteran center back that's on a cheaper contract, but they do it right. They do it.
I mean, if they want to fill a hole that they see that they're going to, I think at this point, it's very clear that the club and the ambitions are very different, and where they want to go is almost like top of MLS tier A, when we talk about the best teams in MLS, they want to be in that conversation, and that's what they're kind of telling us.
Do you think that they will be able to win Champions Cup? Do you think that they're at a level right now where they could win Champions Cup?
I would say they are at the level where they can win anything. Messi on their team. I mean, they have the best player in history on their team.
100%.
They are filling in around him with creative players, goal scorers. I mean, that team is stacked on paper. So yeah, I think if you gave me one game and you had Messi on one side of it, I'd probably pick the team with Messi.
No, I mean, look, I don't disagree with you. And for Jason and for
I think Tom just dropped his microphone or something, or fell off his chair, or he's walking. I don't know. But yeah, I think I don't even know if you can hear me. I think Messi just is a game changer when it comes to that. So if you're going to pick a team, if you think one can win over the other, you're always picking Miami, I think, at least at this point. And then with the addition of their other players, it's much better. Hey, you're back.
Okay, sorry. I was talking and then I realized that my mic was probably going to cut out. I had to make a quick move. The wife came home. She came home early, so apologies about that, everyone. But we're here. We're still talking.
Hey, it's early. First episode of 2024.
Bro, look, honestly, she came home early because of the storm. So she's safe. That's a good thing. That's honestly what I care about more. So we're all good. We're all good.
Anyway, oh man, it's really snowing in Chicago.
All right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it talking. So let's move on from Messi. Let's move on from Miami. Let's move on from all of that. They're gonna be good. I know I asked you the question, but I think that you have to consider them real time contenders for CONCACAF Champions Cup. But
barring injuries, I don't.
Yeah, well, even literally barring injuries, they're so deep. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I mean, like if Messi gets hurt.
Yeah, that's a different story. I mean, look, yeah. I think they're still a very good team at that point with every other piece that they have, but I still agree with you fully on that. All right, let's move forward to another team that many people are saying are the other winners of the offseason, the Colorado Rapids. Right now,
something you thought you'd never hear in your life.
I mean, honestly, after the season they had last year, like it's fucking wild. But Colorado, they have gone out. They have signed Zack Steffen from Manchester City on a non-DP deal, which is huge. They've signed the youngest MLS free agent ever in Omar Fernandez, who I'm a big fan of. He has killed NYCFC constantly in the past. I'm also glad he's not with the Red Bulls anymore. They've also gone out. They've cut some fat. They got rid of Max Alves, which opened up a U22 spot. They got rid of Danny Wilson. They got rid of Sam Nicholson. And they also did probably the biggest news of it all, I would say, is gone out. They've spent their record signing for signing ever, a little bit north of $3 million for USMNT midfielder Djordje Mihailovic on a DP deal. He's back in Major League Soccer after a year at AZ Alkmaar in the Eredivisie. Jason, again, I'm going to kind of start this similar to how I started with Inter Miami. Where do you take this conversation wherever you want, but Colorado Rapids, where are they right now in your mind after a ton of these moves that them and Chris Armas has made so far?
I mean, this is a club that if you told me they were going to start improving, I would almost not believe it. Just after seeing what they've gone through for years, they've been in the basement for a while. They had, what was that one good year, and it kind of wheels fell off towards the end.
It was that, right? Who was it? It was the Austin Trusty kind of Cole Bassett. Yeah, like it all kind of like lined up. You know what I'm saying? It was a magical year for them that I don't think that it's easily replicated constantly.
I think for a lot of these guys, I think for Zack Steffen, really happy for him. I think this is a move that could really help his career kind of get back to where it was, right? Get him back in the conversation potentially in the U.S. For the national team and just in general. And I think he went abroad. Went to Man City, backed up for a while, went on a bunch of loans, transfers. Like, a lot of that moving is tough, and I think he's going to be able to kind of lock down a couple of years here in Colorado and get some consistent playing time and get back to his form that, like, we've seen him at. Like, this is a very good MLS keeper.
Can I interrupt with the Zack Steffen case? Because I saw the conversation going around when Colorado signed them that, and this is no shot at Tom Bogert. I completely love what Tom does, and I agree with a lot of his intake into Major League Soccer. But do you think that he is an instant goalkeeper of the year contender type player? It's been a while since we've seen him play consistent soccer, whether it's due to lack of loans, whether it's due to lack of opportunity, or just straight up injury. I love Zack Steffen, and I think when he is playing, he is a very good goalkeeper. But the key part of that is when he's playing, and I don't think we've seen that over the last few years.
I think part of that, though, is like you said, like loans and going to different teams that, had options there that were potentially better or similar. And then injuries. I don't know if I would necessarily say like this season he's going to be goalkeeper of the year contender, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. Next, like 2 seasons, he is up to that speed. Like we've seen the guy have tons of success in MLS, and I think sometimes just being in a familiar country, being in a familiar place, being in a familiar league where he knows what to expect, it is a game changer. And like sure that MLS has improved quite a lot since, I don't know, what is that, 3 years ago, 4 years ago? I feel like it's a different league, but
honestly, since he left, MLS has hit a different level, which is part of my concern of him being like, this goalkeeper of the year contender. I think if he's healthy, he's a great goalkeeper and he's going to be one of the better ones in MLS. But I don't know.
I think getting him on a non-DP deal, going to Colorado, where at this point, like they're still working on building, right? I don't know if Colorado is going to go from like one of the worst teams in the league to contender status, like in a off season. I think they've done a really good job, which kind of leads into Djordje, and Omar Fernandez. But I think for Zack Steffen, like this is a move that you could have a lot of confidence in making if you're Colorado, because you have that guy that you could put in goal and kind of not worry. Because I think regardless if he's goaltender of the year contender or whatever, he's going to be a solid keeper as long as he can stay healthy, which I think he can. I think he's in a place where now he can.
And I think this was like a move that like probably came across in the Rapids front office, and Patrick Smith and Chris Armas were probably just like, how can we not go get this guy? Because they just signed the contract extension for Marco Ilic, and I think Ilic is a young guy and he still has a future, but I think it's like an opportunity to sign a domestic high talent goalkeeper, USMNT borderline player at this point. Like he's had success in Major League Soccer. How can we not go sign him? Like just for people who maybe didn't watch Zack Steffen back when he was playing with the Columbus Crew, he won an MLS goalkeeper of the year with the Crew. He was an MLS best 11 player. That's why Manchester City went out and signed him and felt that, he was they were confident enough in him for him to be a backup. He went out on loan a few times. I think he pretty much had success at Fortuna Dusseldorf. I know Middlesbrough was a little bit of a rough season, but Zack Steffen is a top of the line goalkeeper. I don't have at this point, I don't know if he's going to be a consistent game winner week in and week out. But to your point, in Djordje Mihailovic, I do think that they got themselves a game winner in Djordje. I know a lot of MLS teams were interested in bringing Mihailovic back to Major League Soccer. I know the Chicago Fire were one of them as well. So sorry, Jason. But Djordje, at this point, again, you're talking about a fringe USMNT player. He's only 25 years old. He's going to be coming back as a DP, which, I think 2 years ago, I would be okay with it, because 2 years ago when he was with Montreal, he was easily one of the best midfielders, attackers, creators in the league. After a year at AZ where he, I think really struggled to get into the lineup. I have concerns about him being on a DP deal, but look, I think the talent is there and I don't have concerns with his talent. I just want to see the confidence get back into his play, because when he was playing at his highest level, he was winning a Canadian championship with Montreal. He was creating a ton. He was even scoring a little bit, and that's the reason why he got the move to the Eredivisie. So I like this idea of bringing him back and kind of putting your confidence in this man to really set a new tone for a new era for the Colorado Rapids.
I think too, like if this was, I don't know, like if this was Columbus just won. I don't know. I think what I'm trying to say is like Colorado getting him on a DP deal. Like I don't think of it as concerning as if a team that's like truly trying to win MLS Cup next season gets him on a DP deal, because I think we've seen him at levels where he could be DP or be putting out numbers like a DP, but we haven't seen it recently. But I think what Colorado's doing here is they're not building for 2024. They're building for 2025, 2026. They're building for a little bit longer. Zack Steffen is still pretty young. I think he's only like 29.
28.
28.
Yeah.
Djordje was what, 25?
Djordje's 25 and Omir's 24.
Yeah, and so all these guys they're bringing in are not there. They're not planning for that 1 year, They're not planning for, hey, let's go all in and hit it big. They're going, how can we improve the team completely, Like, how can we start making moves now to make this team even better and better? Maybe in 3 years when they are a playoff regular, Djordje takes a deal that is no longer a DP deal, and someone else comes in that is like a huge DP. Or Djordje's at the level again where we've seen him get like these are two guys in Djordje and Zack Steffen who we've seen play at top of MLS levels.
Yeah.
And so the risk I think for Colorado is really not that high with both of them. And I think even Omar Fernandez, like you're getting a guy from the Red Bull system that's just been known to create solid prospects, who's got a decent amount of MLS games and MLS. What did he play? MLS 2 for a little while.
No, I mean, look, a lot of his career was I think he only had a handful of games for Red Bulls too. A lot of his career at a very young age was for the Red Bulls first team. So he has MLS experience. And last year, 8 goals and 4 assists for the Red Bulls.
Yeah, and I think that can even improve even more, like as he gets more comfortable, stronger, older, I think all three of these moves combined is just showing that Colorado is finally kind of, okay, let's start putting together a team instead of every year being a 20-point in the entire season, like.
I like that I'm seeing the front office spend. And it's not, you're not spending at the top of Major League Soccer along with the LAFCs and the Columbuses and all these other teams, right? But they're spending money, and I'm glad to see them, and finally, at least this offseason, investing in the squad. I'm with you that I don't see them as contenders for next year, but I like to see what they're building, and I think they're going to be a much improved team. Yeah.
I think there's, like you're saying, they're spending, but they're spending with a vision in mind, which kind of jumps out when you're looking at it. And I think that's massive. Like I've seen plenty of teams in MLS who just spend or sell players and make a lot of money and spend, and it doesn't necessarily translate to what is the actual plan. Whereas like when you look at Colorado, you can kind of feel a plan behind the scenes.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that fully. I think that they're giving Chris Armas every opportunity to succeed from year one. Again, I don't know if it's going to be MLS Cup year one, but the Colorado Rapids have gotten better, and now you have to give them.
I mean, with these 3 moves, I could definitely say that I don't think they're going to be at the bottom. I think they could even sneak into the playoffs, even just with those 3.
For sure. And cutting the fat of, like I said, a Danny Wilson, a Sam Nicholson. They also got rid of Max Alves,
and they still got Darren Yappy.
Yeah, they still got Darren Yappy. They just signed Cole Bassett to a contract extension today. So look, I do think they're doing a lot of stuff right. Let's move on from Colorado. Let's quickly, this one I don't want to spend too much time on, but the Portland Timbers and Sporting Kansas City officially open up DP spots on their roster. Portland, I know, has 2 spots open, Sporting Kansas City 1, but Gadi Kinda is officially going back to Israel. And then on the Portland Timbers side of things, Yimi Chara got sold to a club in Colombia.
So kind of sad, honestly.
The Yimi Chara one or the Gadi Kinda one?
The Chara one.
Yeah,
I just feel like they should always be there.
It's for I would say for Yimi more than Gadi Kinda. And look, Gadi Kinda was a great midfielder. I don't think he was ever a DP level kind of attacking midfielder type player. I think he had some great moments for Sporting Kansas City. I just don't think I don't think he was ever at a DP level. But for Jimmy Chara, he had some great years. He won the MLS's back tournament with Portland Timbers, right? I just think honestly the last few years of injuries and being inconsistently able to, or consistently able to not be on the field. I think that's really hurt his tenure and his time with Portland, and he wasn't at a DP level. So look, I think it's smart moves for both of these clubs to to have freedom to upgrade the roster. I think Portland's most likely going to be signing another DP level winger. And again, I just said that they had 2 DP spots open. I wouldn't be surprised if a DP level striker comes in on top of that. For Sporting Kansas City, I would assume it's going to be a DP level attacking midfielder coming in. Again, it could be maybe someone on the wing. I don't know, but I would assume it's more of a DP level attacking midfielder there. I'll stop it there. Do you have any, I guess, if you have any thought to it, where would you like to see?
I just think that for both of these clubs, like they're clubs that don't hang around toward the bottom often. And so they make changes quickly and usually right changes. And I mean, obviously with 2 DP spots in Portland, that's a massive opportunity. Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, even with 1 DP spot, that's a big opportunity to fill. Yeah. With 2, it's huge, and I think that it's a team that doesn't really have the luxury to kind of be bad. Like the fan base is there. The region is a big soccer region, right? With the Cascadia Cup and whatnot, and that stuff matters. And I think there's almost a little bit more pressure to start making moves earlier, or not necessarily earlier, but when it's necessary. And this is sort of like, as much as I say it's kind of sad because I really like Jimmy Chara.
It's neat.
I think it's good.
I think it also, if we're talking about giving the Rapids front office, giving Chris Armas the best opportunity to succeed from the jump with the Colorado Rapids, I think this is the Portland Timbers giving Phil Neville the best opportunity to succeed from the jump with the Timbers, right? 2 open DP spots. You have a Vander, who I think was impressive at points. They completely revamped the goalkeeper room. They signed Trey Muse from the Charleston Battery, James Pantemis from free agency. And then they also, it's not official yet. It might be official when the episode drops, but they're also signing Maxine Crepeau, according to Tom Bogert. So the goalkeeper room's upgraded. They just acquired Kamal Miller from Inter Miami, which is a big deal in its own right. Kamal Miller's a top of the line in prime center back. And now you have 2 DP spots open. I mean, Portland has the potential to be a very good spot and a very good team next year.
I think they're already going to be better.
I mean, 100%. 100%. I love.
Yeah, I mean, you have 2 DP spots to fill. I think you're already gotten a little bit better. So,
I mean, you get Eric Williamson back. You get, I don't know. I think Portland's going to be a lot of fun, and I think this offseason is going to continue to be a fun one for the Pacific Northwest, just overall.
Good for the Timbers,
Good for them. Good for them. Hey, you guys, it's not official yet, but you guys are tied heavily to Kellen Acosta. I know you're feeling.
I know we are. I've seen it. I don't want to jinx it. Don't jinx it. I would be so happy. I don't even care.
Let's keep it moving because we have a lot of there's so much fucking shit to talk about. Hugo Lloris headed to LAFC. Jason, I'm gonna let you take this one. You like it or you don't like it?
I mean, yes and no. Like, he's a big name goalie, and I almost feel like it's just there because of name. But you had Maxime Crepeau, who just won you an MLS Cup 2 years ago, literally put his entire life on the line, and then took you pretty far this year. So it seems like filling a hole that wasn't there, but I don't know. I don't know the whole gist of what they're paying both of those guys. Like, if they were, I think Crepeau wanted a decent amount of money, which he definitely deserves. I don't know. It's not a DP for Lloris, so I think that's a pretty good move for a keeper who's been in huge games, right? In a club that likes that star power of name. So I can't bash this move, but it's just a weird one to talk about because it's hard to say this was a good move when you probably have other places to fill, especially with other news. you have other things you're going to have to address with.
Yeah,
Hugo Lloris isn't the biggest one.
I can roll into that too, right? Hugo Lloris, I know Tottenham are paying part of his salary. I think they're paying him like $300,000 a year or something like that, right? It's the name, but I think he at 37 years old, I still have to have a little bit of confidence that he can be somewhat of a decent starting caliber goalkeeper in Major League Soccer. But to the other news that you hinted at, they also lost Diego Palacios on a free deal, and he is headed to Corinthians down in Brazil. I mean, look, this is a larger conversation that I don't know if we have the time to talk about it today. It comes down to, I think what we've also talked about in the past too, of just the salary cap issue within Major League Soccer. Diego Palacios is a guy who they got from Ecuador. They really got him and I think molded him and trained him and developed him into an Ecuadorian international. He made it to the World Cup with Ecuador. And now, because of salary issues, they can't afford to pay him. That's what at least it seems and feels like to me. So now he's going to go to a big time club in Brazil, and good for him. But it's weird that LAFC weren't able to, if they at least knew that they weren't going to be able to re-sign him, that they weren't able to then sell him before anything else. So I don't know. I hate that he's leaving Major League Soccer. I hate that he's leaving LAFC, but it's even weirder on top of it, the behind the scenes, that they weren't able to, I guess, at least make a profit off a dude that they developed into a top of the line player in Major League Soccer.
Yeah, and I think the whole LAFC conversation sort of has to be had as like, we talked about this club as like they want to be world known, right? Massive. At least it seemed like it. And a lot, I mean, I don't know. Lloris is, like you said, he's older, but goalies kind of skew older anyways. So yeah. It's not as big of a deal age there. And he is that big name, but like you're losing Palacio, maybe you're losing Bouanga, which could probably at least mention that he kind of has dropped some hints that he wants out of LAFC, basically.
And he's openly said, I want to go play France and or Europe.
Yeah. In Europe. And he can make that move, and we're going to be looking at a different LAFC team potentially than we're used to. And I think that they want to put out, right? Especially with the Kellen Acosta news that he's probably out. Hopefully for me. But I just think LAFC is in a really weird position right now. And I don't think they're done. I think there's a lot for them to do this offseason to put together a competitive team. I don't really know if they're going to at this point. Like, this would be a year of rebuilding for them.
Look, the wild thing is that the offseason just started, but at the same exact time, like it's almost done too. Like, you have to start making
the game started in late February.
Yeah, and LAFC, they need to be at a level that we know LAFC to be if they want to consistently, like we said, be that club. And if with Denis Bouanga, wanting to leave, Hugo Lloris coming in to replace a Maxine Crepeau, Diego Palacios gone, they have a lot of holes. They have a lot of talent. It's a lot of young talent for sure, and an Oliveira and a Bogusz and guys like that, but there's not enough there for me to be like, this is going to be the same high level Western Conference club that we know and we watch. So,
well, you're probably losing a guy who scored 50 goals nearly.
Literally.
So 50. This is literally irreplaceable.
Yes, and Carlos Vela most likely being gone too, right? There's a lot, and I think we can talk about LAFC, later on in another episode. But it's a little bit of a mess going on right now. One team that I would definitely say is not in a mess. Maybe you might challenge me on that, but I would say it's FC Cincinnati. Miles Robinson heading to FC Cincinnati on a non-DP deal is wild. They also, it's again not official, or at least I haven't seen it be official, but Brandon Vazquez is gone. They sold him for $7.5 million to Monterrey in Liga MX. So, I'll start it off with, it's wild to me that Miles Robinson was like, I'm going to go, I want to get paid. I want to go to Europe, whatever. He was still going to test the waters of Major League Soccer free agency, and he wanted a deal similar to Walker Zimmerman, right? A DP level deal. And he went to FC Cincinnati, which is a great spot right now, and he went to there on the max TAM deal. Now it's only for 1 year with the club and a player option for next year. So I think if that option gets picked up, he'll most likely be a DP next year. But if not, then he gets to potentially go test the free agent waters again and go potentially make that move to Europe then. So I don't hate, once I found out more details behind the scenes, I don't hate the deal because it gives Miles Robinson, one, he gets paid, and two, he gets to kind of control his own immediate future for the most part, you know? So I have to give Miles Robinson the love there.
I love Miles Robinson, right? But I think partially to me, like, this is a deal that I feel like Cincy kind of had to make. Like, I think Cincy's in a pretty good spot, but I think losing Mosquera is going to be huge, right? He's returning to Wolves off the end of the loan.
Yeah.
He was a major, major piece for them. And I think while Miles Robinson is obviously a top-tier defender, right, in MLS, he's one of those guys. You're almost replacing Mosquera with him. So I don't necessarily think that FC Cincinnati got significantly better or worse. I think it's sort of, I don't know if I would say like lateral move, but it's like basically you're placing him next to Matt Miazga and you're going to, again, have a very, very good defense. And I think Cincinnati is going to remain good. I think they're like Vazquez, I really like. Him gone is a little bit a hole to fill. I think there's some spots that can improve, but this is a team that came off the best season ever, one of the best seasons in MLS that we've seen in a while. Went pretty far in the playoffs, eventually lost to Columbus, who won, MLS Cup. So they know where they're at, and they just need to fill in around the edges now. But I think that center back spot was the biggest point of emphasis that they needed to fill, losing Mosquera. Because I don't think you lose Mosquera and you replace him with, I don't know, Nick Hagland or something. I think you're taking a step back there, whereas with Miles Robinson, I think you're actually consistently staying up towards where you were.
If you told me that this club lost Brandon Vazquez, Alvaro Barreal, which is still, I most likely he's going to be gone as well, and Jerson Mosquera, and you replace them with okay, it's Ian Murphy's time and Sergio Santos is going to step up and, we'll figure out left wing back, then I would be concerned for FC Cincinnati. You're replacing Mosquera almost with a like for like in Miles Robinson. And like you said, a back three of Robinson, Matt Miazga, and Nick Hagland. I mean, that's a pretty solid back three, I would argue.
I mean, I think that might be one of the better, like we went position by position. That might be one of the better ones.
Literally. And now, you're replacing Brandon Vazquez, who was on a very, very team-friendly contract, who you're going to make a lot of money for, and you're going to sell him to, one of the giants of the region. And now you're going to replace him with reportedly Corey Baird, who I think he scored 14 goals last year for Houston.
I'm
and
a
now
Baird fan. You know this.
You love Corey Baird. Now you just have to figure out, the left wing back replacement. But even then, I don't know. I have faith with FC Cincinnati that they're going to be really good. My question for you to kind of round out the Cincinnati conversation is more leaning towards the Brandon Vazquez side of things. Do you like the move for him going to Liga MX? Because now we also see Cade Cowell reportedly very close to a deal to Club America. Do you like MLS stars going to Liga MX, a rival league? Let's be real. No?
I mean, I don't mind it from that perspective, like rival league perspective. I think towards the top of Liga MX, we obviously know that there's a lot of quality there, right? Like, how many teams in MLS have won Champions League? Like one? I think it's the one.
Yeah.
So
the day version, yes, you would have DC and Galaxy fans arguing.
Okay, yeah.
But yes.
Well, they can argue, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think if they're making that move, it doesn't feel like a huge step forward for them in their careers versus going to like a stepping club in Europe, like a
Belgian
Bundesliga club or something, or a Belgian team, or like a Turkish team too, like Besiktas or something. Like there are teams that you could go to that are kind of like a step up in quality across the league, probably or somewhat. And I mean, people would probably argue with me there, but I mean, once you're in Europe, right? There's a little bit more eyes. I mean, even if they went to like an RB Salzburg or something, like I think there's moves that could have been made that were probably better than going to Liga MX. But I don't really like hate it from like this is like the rival league that you're going to be now playing for. Like I don't know if it's that big of a deal because
Yeah.
they're not. They're great. They're young. They're not like. I don't know. Like the MLS just got like from a league perspective, I think MLS is fine.
No, for sure. And look, to me, these two cases are different when I looked at it. Like Brandon Vazquez, I think actually tactically he fits really well with Monterrey. And look, if you told me Brandon Vazquez was going to go to like Tijuana, right? Like I'm going to tell you, I think that's an awful move. Like that's just a move to a shit Mexican club. Sorry, Tijuana fans, but it's just true. But you're going to one of the giants of Liga MX. You fit tactically within the system. I still think, look, if he scores 8 to 10 goals in Mexico compared to if he went to a championship club or a low-level Bundesliga club and he scored 4 goals, I still think he's getting the same USMNT look. So I don't think that there's really that much of a difference for Brandon Vazquez. For Cade Cowell, a little bit different. I don't love tactically the fit of him going to Club America. I personally don't know how much opportunity he's going to get to play consistently compared to if he, had a trade to another MLS club or even if he went to a lower tiered European league or something like that. Like I think San Jose turned down an offer from the Greek, from Matias Almeida. They were trying to sign him over in Greece, so it's like I don't love the Cade Cowell move. I don't mind the Brandon Vazquez move. Personally, I would prefer them both not to go to Mexico because I want to see it. I would prefer them going to Europe. But look, I think each of these situations is different in my brain.
I think that's a good point. I think for the Cade Cowell, like I don't see how this improves drastically any chance of him going abroad or in his club career or even getting way more minutes in the U.S. men's team. Like I feel like you could have stayed where you were, or like you said, maybe transfer within MLS. And
I agree.
I don't know if I necessarily think he's totally ready to go all the way to Europe and make that move, but I think he could be in a year or two. And I don't know if this is the right move for him, given that.
I think some behind the scenes shenanigans going on between him and San Jose from conversations I've heard, but
then move within MLS, like move to another team in MLS. You already know the whole league, you know the system, you know everything. Like, and it's not like MLS is not being looked at by Europe, right? Like, I don't know the numbers on Liga MX transfers to Europe, but I do know that there's a lot of very good players that go from MLS to Europe and do quite well, like at the top of it. So I just think that if he had stayed, you're not necessarily, if anything, you're making a lateral move, I guess. And there's a chance it's a step down. And I think that is where it's like, is it great of a move? Like, I don't feel like it's a jump.
I fully agree with you. Let's round out the episode today. I'm going to quickly run through these last 4 things that I want to talk about. If you have anything you want to say, Jason, interrupt me. The one last massive signing that I feel like we should mention, Nico Ladero staying within Major League Soccer, headed to Orlando City on a non-DP deal, which I think is big. He's going to help Oscar Pareja's side continue to be one of the best clubs in Major League Soccer. I really like the move. I think this makes Orlando a ton better, still with a bit of roster flexibility, but go ahead.
To interrupt you on this one, I just love this move. I just wanted to say, like, I think this is a great move for Orlando City. I think, like, with Pareja staying, like we were talking about before the new year, like, that's a huge signing, just getting their coach to continue with them.
Yeah.
And I think Lodiero, like, I think he has a lot to give in MLS. So he's getting older, but he's still a very good player. And to be good in Orlando City. He's consistent, right? So I think this is a great move for them.
He's literally done stuff in Major League Soccer that nobody else has done. You know, he's an MLS Cup champion along with the CONCACAF Champions League champion. You know, he's been best 11. He is one of the best players Major League Soccer has ever seen on the field, and you have to give him, you know, his flowers. And I still think he can bring a lot on and off the field to an Oscar Pareja-led side that finished second in Major League Soccer in points last year. But whatever. So I think this makes Orlando much, much better. On the managerial side of things, Laurent Courtois to CF Montreal, I think this makes a ton of sense. A French manager who's had success in MLS Next Pro, won an MLS Next Pro title and MLS Next Pro Coach of the Year. He made a second MLS Next Pro final. You know, it seems very Wilfred Nancy-esque to Montreal, literally, because he was under Nancy in Columbus. You know, so I like the move. I think we could possibly see, though, just like Montreal every other year, he's gone in a year or 2 years because that's just what Montreal seems to do. But I like Courtois to Montreal. Troy Lesesne, not official, but he is reported to be the next manager of DC United. You know, we talked a lot about Troy Lesesne in the past after Red Bulls decided not to keep him. I like him. He's a young manager. I think he still has a lot to prove, and it could be a pretty relatively cheap hiring for DC, I think, and good for Lesesne that, you know, to get a shot again in Major League Soccer. I
want to add I think for both of those coaches, like, just to say, like, I like where those hirings came from, right? Like the experience of lower league MLS, kind of some MLS. I just think that's like a good place to look at when you're hiring, and you could find success there. So happy for both of them. And I think the scene, like, I don't know, like he got that team mid-season, that Rebel team. A lot of the players seem to love him, so I think he's like pretty well known, like well liked, and I think that's a good thing. And DC needs to change up their whole process, and I think this is part of it, and their whole culture. And I think this is going to be a huge move for DC with their culture.
I agree. I think this.
I hope both of these guys though are there for like long term, not like a 1 year or 2 year and done. Like if it's that, then it's on the clubs for trying to. You can only do something so many times and fail, and then pretend like you're just going to keep doing it again, right?
They're younger guys that I think they need to get their shot at building their team, and I'd like to see Montreal and DC give that. These organizations haven't really been known for doing that, so I guess, you know, we'll see what the future holds for Lesesne and Courtois. The thing that I want to just wrap up this episode with is giving love and giving flowers to Ozzie Alonso, who announced his retirement from professional soccer. Literally, arguably, and I would put him as number one of my, you know, best MLS defensive midfielder of all time. You know, this man's won MLS Cup, he's won Supporter Shield, he's won US Open Cup, so he's been an All-Star, he's been an MLS Best 11 midfielder before. He has over 455 games played within the United States between the Seattle Sounders, Minnesota United, Atlanta United 2 for 1 game, and then the Charleston Battery as well. You know, Ozzie Alonso, an absolute ball destroyer, and he's an absolute boss. I love him, and, you know, I just want to say thank you for what he brought to Major League Soccer, because he's one of the best, if not the best, to ever do it in this league.
He was one of those guys that for it felt like a decade and a half, it just, oh, that guy's on the other team, we're screwed. Like he will make his presence known. He always did, and he always succeeded at what he wanted to do. So props to him. What a career.
And that is, I think, the perfect way to give this episode a wrap, is a thank you to Ozzie. Jason, a thank you to you for episode 280. Thank you guys for listening, watching. 2024 is going to be a ton of fun, and we'll talk a shit more MLS offseason next week. So catch you guys next week.